Lita, I think I need to hide under my bed and never come out again. I am officially the most embarrassing person on planet Earth.
Oh, Sam, what did you do this time? Did you try to feed the YouTube algorithm monster again? Hello, everyone, and welcome to another amazing episode of the English Unscripted podcast. I am Lita.
And I am Sam. And today, my friends, we are talking about a very stressful, very sweaty, and very important topic: jobs, careers, and the terrifying world of job interviews.
Exactly. We all have to work to pay for our expensive online shopping habits, and getting a good job usually starts with a very scary interview. Today, we are dividing this massive podcast into 3 exciting chapters. First, we will talk about the absolute nightmare of preparing for the interview and choosing the right clothes. Then, in Chapter 2, we dive into the terrifying questions the managers always ask. And finally, Chapter 3 is all about how to survive your very first day at a brand new job.
3 chapters of pure stress. But wait, Lita, before we put on our nice suits today, we have a very important mission for our listeners.
Oh, it is challenge time! What is the strategy today, Sam?
Listeners, if you truly want to become a fluent English speaker, you cannot just sprint through this video once. You have to treat this podcast exactly like a long marathon race.
A marathon! I love that! So how do we run this language race?
The first time you listen, you're just jogging slowly, enjoying the funny story and the beautiful scenery. But the second time, that's the final heavy sprint. You grab your water, you pause the video, you write down the new words, and you push your brain to the finish line.
Yes, push yourselves to the finish line, guys. Do not give up. Anyway, back to your embarrassing disaster, Sam. Why are you hiding under your bed?
Well, I had a very important job interview yesterday morning for a huge international company. I woke up at 6 o'clock, I took a long shower, and I wanted to wear my absolute best lucky shirt, the light blue one.
The light blue shirt? That's a very nice, elegant choice, Sam. It makes you look very smart. Did you iron it properly?
I tried to, but honestly, I was so nervous that my hands were completely shaking. And the worst part is, I kept the clean shirt in the kitchen the night before, right next to the hot stove.
In the kitchen, Sam? Why would you put clean, formal clothes in the kitchen? That's a terrible idea.
Because I was trying to cook my famous sweet garlic mushroom soup. And guess what? The blue shirt absorbed all the steam and it smelled exactly like old garlic and white sugar.
Oh my goodness, the sweet garlic soup strikes again. You cannot go to a professional job interview smelling like a terrible culinary disaster, Sam. The manager would probably throw you out the window.
I know. I was panicking. I needed to look completely professional, not like a walking garlic clove. Wait, Lita, let's pause right there. I think that's a fantastic and very important vocabulary word for our listeners to learn today. Professional.
Yes, professional. It's an adjective that describes someone who shows a lot of skill, good behavior, and wears appropriate clothes for a serious, formal job.
Listeners, please practice this excellent business word and say it with us right now.
Say it loud and clear in your room, guys. Stand up straight.
No.
Professional. So you obviously couldn't wear the garlic shirt. What did you do, Sam? You only had 1 hour before the big interview.
I was running around my apartment like a completely crazy chicken. I opened my messy closet and I just grabbed the first clean thing I saw. I made a huge mistake, Lita.
Wait, Sam. You made a huge mistake. Remember, in English, we make a mistake. We don't do a mistake. We do homework, we do laundry, but we make mistakes.
Oh, right. Thank you, Lita. I made a massive mistake. I grabbed a bright yellow jacket, the one that makes me look exactly like a giant banana.
A giant banana, Sam? No! Going to a serious corporate office dressed as a bright yellow piece of fruit is definitely not a good idea, which actually makes me very curious about our amazing listeners.
Oh, yes. Listeners, we have a very important question for you right now. Have you ever worn something completely embarrassing or totally wrong to a serious event or a job interview?
Tell us your funny clothing disasters in the comments down below. We want to read all your embarrassing stories. Make us feel better about Sam's yellow banana jacket.
Yes, please share your pain with me. Anyway, I put on the bright yellow jacket, I ran down the stairs, and I jumped into a taxi. I was sweating so much, it felt like I was inside a hot sauna.
A sauna, Sam. That's the absolute worst feeling before a big, important job interview. You want to arrive looking cool, calm, and collected, not like a melting yellow banana.
Exactly. But the air conditioning in the old taxi was completely broken, and the driver was incredibly talkative. He kept looking at my bright jacket in the mirror. He actually asked if I was going to a children's birthday party to work as a funny clown.
Oh no, a clown! That completely destroys your confidence before you even walk into the building. Did you tell him you were trying to be a serious corporate manager?
I was too stressed to explain anything to him. I just looked at my watch every 2 seconds. The morning traffic was incredibly slow. Cars were stopping everywhere, and I was so worried about being late. I was feeling extremely anxious.
Wait, Sam, let's pause right there for a second. I think that's a very powerful and useful feeling for our listeners to learn how to describe today. Anxious.
Yes, anxious. It's an adjective that describes a very strong feeling of worry, nervousness, or fear about something that is happening right now or might happen in the future. I was definitely panicking in that taxi.
Listeners, please practice this important emotional word and say it with us right now.
Say it loud and clear in your car, guys.
Take a deep breath. Anxious.
Anxious. I was so anxious because I really had to be on time. The manager specifically sent me an email and said, "You have to be here at exactly 9 o'clock."
Oh, wait a minute, guys. Listeners, I have a very cool native secret for you right here. Did you hear how Sam just pronounced the words have to?
Wait, did I make another grammar mistake, Lita? I thought have to was completely correct.
It is grammatically correct when you write it in a formal email, Sam, but when native English speakers talk fast in the real world, we rarely pronounce every single letter. We don't say, I have to go. We smash the words together and just say, I have to go. Have to.
Oh, that is so true. I have to be on time. I have to get this job today. It sounds much more natural and relaxed when you say it like that.
Exactly. Try using have to when you speak to your friends, guys. It's a secret weapon to make you sound like a true local on the streets. So, Sam, did you have to run the rest of the way to the office?
Yes, the traffic stopped completely, so I paid the funny taxi driver, I jumped out of the car, and I ran 3 blocks down the busy street. I finally arrived at the giant glass building at exactly 8:55, 5 minutes early.
Wow, that's very impressive, Sam. Being punctual and arriving early is rule number 1 for any interview. But how did the serious receptionist react when she saw a sweaty, breathing banana run into the elegant lobby?
She looked completely shocked, Lita. The whole lobby was full of very quiet people wearing dark black and gray suits. They were reading boring business newspapers, drinking black coffee, and I walked in glowing like the morning sun.
You definitely made a very strong first impression, Sam. They will never ever forget you. But getting into the building is only the beginning of the nightmare. The real terror starts when they call your name and you sit down in that small, cold room with 3 serious managers. Which brings us perfectly to Chapter 2 of our stressful adventure today. Listeners, dry your sweaty hands and prepare your best answers because we are about to face the terrifying, impossible questions they always ask in a job interview.
Lita, walking into that small, freezing cold interview room was exactly like walking into a very strict police station. I felt like a dangerous criminal, a very bright, yellow, sweating criminal.
The interrogation room. I know exactly what you mean, Sam. It is always a huge, empty room with one tiny, uncomfortable chair in the exact middle, and 3 very serious managers sitting behind a giant wooden desk just staring at you.
Yes, and they absolutely never smile. They just look at you over their reading glasses, and they have these thick, heavy paper folders with your name printed on the front. I walked very slowly, I sat down on the tiny chair, and it made a very loud, embarrassing squeaking noise.
Oh no, the squeaky chair. That completely ruins the serious, professional atmosphere immediately. Did you try to fix it or did you just freeze?
I completely froze. I did not move a single muscle for 10 minutes because I was terrified it would squeak again. One manager, a very tall man with absolutely no hair and a dark gray suit, pushed a glass of ice water across the table, but my hands were shaking so much I was afraid I would spill it all over my bright yellow jacket and ruin my beautiful outfit.
That sounds incredibly stressful, Sam. The physical environment of an interview room is designed to test your nerves. And then what happened? Did they offer you a job or did they start attacking you with the terrible questions?
The tall, serious manager opened my folder, looked at my paper resume, looked at my yellow jacket, and then asked me the most terrifying open question in the entire world.
Let me guess. Was it the classic horrible opening question that everyone hates? So, Sam, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yes, that exact question. It is so incredibly broad and confusing, Lita. I never know what to say to that. Do they want to know about my university degree? Or do they want to know that I love eating large cheese pizzas at midnight while watching funny cat videos?
Haha, definitely not the pizza and the cats, Sam. But honestly, everyone hates that specific question. It is a psychological test. It's designed to see how you handle pressure and organize your thoughts. It makes normal people feel completely overwhelmed.
Wait, Lita, let's pause right there for a second. I think that is a perfectly accurate and very useful emotional word for our listeners to learn and master today. Overwhelmed.
Yes, overwhelmed. It's an adjective that describes a very heavy feeling when something is so difficult, so confusing, or so stressful that you completely lose control of your thoughts and your brain just stops working.
Listeners, please practice this important intermediate word and say it with us right now.
Say it out loud in your room, guys. Feel the stress.
Overwhelmed.
Overwhelmed. I think every single person on earth feels completely overwhelmed when an interviewer asks that open question. Actually, I'm very curious about our smart audience.
Oh, listeners, we have another great question for you right now. When a serious manager looks at you and says, "Tell me about yourself," what do you actually say to them? Do you talk about your pets, your hobbies, or your boring school grades?
Write your best, most professional answers in the comments below. We really need some good advice and inspiration because I have a very bad feeling that Sam gave a terrible answer. Tell me the truth, Sam. What did you actually say to the tall, serious manager?
Well, my brain went completely blank, Lita. I was totally overwhelmed. I forgot my own age, I forgot the name of my university, and I just looked at my sleeve. So I panicked in the silence, and I started talking about my artistic hobbies.
Oh my goodness, please tell me you did not talk about the horrible green alien painting, Sam. This is a serious corporate business job.
I absolutely did, Lita. I couldn't stop my mouth. I told the three managers that I'm a very creative, passionate person, and I recently painted a beautiful, emotional masterpiece of a green alien in my living room.
Oh, Sam, a green alien in a corporate interview? How did they react to that crazy story?
The three managers just stared at me in complete, awkward, heavy silence for a full minute. The tall, no-haired man slowly closed my folder, looked at the other managers, and sighed. I wanted the floor to open up and swallow me whole.
Haha, oh my goodness. A heavy, awkward silence is the absolute worst sound in the world, Sam. I can't believe you told three serious corporate directors about a messy green alien painting. You're interviewing for a professional office job, not a modern art gallery.
I know. My brain was completely empty, Lita. But honestly, I think the tall, bald manager actually smiled a little bit. Or maybe it was just a muscle spasm in his face. Anyway, after the alien story, they moved on to the second most terrifying question in the history of interviews.
Oh no, please do not tell me they asked the ultimate trick question. Did they ask you about your flaws and mistakes?
Yes, the woman with the strict glasses looked at my bright yellow jacket and asked, "So, Sam, what would you say is your greatest weakness?" It's a terrible trap, Lita. It's a complete trick to make you look bad.
It really is a huge trap. If you tell the complete truth, you sound terrible. You can't look at a manager and say, "My greatest weakness is that I absolutely hate waking up early, I'm very lazy on Mondays, and I cry when I drop my morning coffee."
Exactly. You have to lie, but you have to lie very professionally. So I used the most classic, boring, fake answer that everyone uses. I looked her right in the eyes, I sat up very straight on my squeaky chair, and I said, "My biggest weakness is that I'm a complete perfectionist. I just work way too hard."
Wait, Sam, let's pause right there for a second. I think that's a very classic, slightly annoying, but highly useful vocabulary word for our listeners to master today, a perfectionist.
Yes, a perfectionist. It's a noun that describes a person who completely refuses to accept any standard short of absolute perfection. They want everything to be 100% flawless, without a single tiny mistake anywhere.
Listeners, please practice this very common interview word and say it with us right now.
Say it loud and clear in your living room, guys. Look very serious.
Perfectionist.
Perfectionist. I told them I was a perfectionist, and the three managers just rolled their eyes at the exact same time. It was perfectly synchronized, like a professional dance routine on television.
Because everyone says that, Sam. Managers are incredibly tired of hearing that fake robotic answer. They want to hear a real human weakness and how you're actually trying to fix it and improve yourself.
Well, I panicked again. When I saw them rolling their eyes, I tried to fix my answer immediately. I said, "I'm a perfectionist at work, but my real weakness is cooking. Yesterday, I completely ruined my blue shirt with my famous sweet garlic mushroom soup, so I had to wear this bright yellow banana jacket today."
Oh, Sam, you actually explained the sweet garlic soup and the yellow jacket to the corporate managers? You basically gave them an entire comedy show for free.
I did, and you know what? The tall, serious manager actually started laughing. A real, loud, genuine laugh. He closed my folder, took off his glasses, and told me that I was definitely the most unique and entertaining candidate they had interviewed all year long.
Wow, that's actually a wonderful plot twist, Sam. Sometimes just being completely honest, a little bit vulnerable, and a little bit silly is the absolute best way to break the ice and show your true personality. People want to work with humans, not robots.
It really is. I left the room feeling very strange, but also very proud of my yellow jacket. Now I just have to wait by the phone for the scary call to see if I actually got the job.
I'm keeping my fingers crossed for you, Sam, but getting the job is only half of the battle. The real challenge begins when you actually have to wake up early and go to the office every single day. Which brings us perfectly to the third and final chapter of our corporate adventure today. Listeners, grab your coffee cups and your completely normal colored jackets because we're going to explore the terrifying, confusing, and completely exhausting reality of surviving your very first day at a brand new job.
Lita, getting the phone call and hearing the manager say you are hired is an absolutely wonderful feeling. You feel like a powerful king for exactly one night. But then the alarm clock rings at 6 o'clock the next morning and the real nightmare actually begins.
The honeymoon is officially over, Sam. The very first day at a brand new job is exactly like the first day at a new school when you were a small child. You have a new bag, new uncomfortable shoes, and you are completely terrified of absolutely everyone.
Yes, you walk into the giant, cold building and you do not know where anything is. You do not know where your desk is, you do not know how to use the complicated coffee machine in the kitchen, and you are way too scared to ask where the bathroom is.
Oh, the bathroom panic? That is the absolute worst feeling in the world. You just hold it for 8 long hours because you do not want to look silly walking around the office opening random doors. You might accidentally walk right into a secret, highly important executive meeting.
I actually did that once at my old job. I opened a heavy glass door looking for the restroom, and I walked straight into a huge financial presentation with the CEO of the entire company. I just smiled, waved my hand very slowly, and walked backward into the dark hallway.
That is so incredibly embarrassing, Sam. I would probably start crying. But honestly, the absolute hardest part of the first day is definitely the morning introductions. The manager walks you around the entire office and introduces you to 50 different people in exactly 10 minutes.
It is completely impossible. My brain cannot process that much information. The manager points and says, "Sam, this is John from accounting. This is Sarah from global marketing. This is Michael from human resources." They all look exactly the same in their dark gray suits.
And you just smile and shake everyone's hand very politely until your arm physically hurts. You are desperately trying to remember their faces because these are the people you will see every single day for the rest of your life.
Wait, Wida, let us pause right there. I think that is a very essential, incredibly common business vocabulary word for our listeners to master today. A colleague.
Yes, a colleague. It's a noun that means a person that you work with in a profession or a corporate business. They are not exactly your family, and they are not always your best friends, but they are your team members at the office.
Listeners, please practice this super important professional word and say it with us right now.
Say it out loud in your home office, guys. Look at your computer screen.
Colleague.
Colleague. It is so incredibly difficult to remember the names of 50 new colleagues on the very first morning, Sam. Honestly, I am very curious about how our amazing, smart listeners handle this awkward situation.
Oh, yes. Listeners, we have our third and final super fun question for you right now. When you start a brand new job or join a completely new class, how do you actually remember everyone's names? Do you write them secretly in a small notebook, or do you just call everyone "my friend" for the first 6 months?
Tell us your secret memory tricks in the comments down below. We desperately need your professional help because Sam has a terrible memory. So, Sam, did you actually remember anyone's name on your very first day?
Absolutely not, Lita. I forgot everyone's name in exactly 3 seconds. I was so nervous and tired that I drank 4 huge cups of strong, dark black coffee before 10 o'clock in the morning. My heart was beating so incredibly fast, I thought it was going to jump right out of my chest.
4 cups of coffee on an empty stomach, Sam? That's a recipe for a complete physical disaster. You were probably shaking like a leaf in the wind. How did you even survive the first important team meeting with the big boss? 4 cups of coffee before 10 in the morning is a complete recipe for a disaster, Sam. Your poor colleagues probably thought you were a human earthquake.
They absolutely did. We all walked into the giant, fancy glass boardroom for the Monday morning team meeting. The CEO was standing at the front, showing a very complicated financial graph on a huge screen, and I was vibrating in my chair. I was clicking my plastic pen, click, 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 for 20 minutes straight.
Oh no, pen clicking is the most annoying sound in a quiet office, Sam. Someone definitely wanted to throw your pen out the window. Did anyone tell you to stop?
Yes, the woman sitting next to me, I think her name was Sarah, or maybe Jessica, I really don't remember. She slowly reached over, put her hand on my shaking pen, and whispered, "Please, for the love of everything good, stop clicking." I wanted to disappear under the heavy wooden table.
That is completely mortifying, Sam. But honestly, that nervous energy is totally normal. Everyone remembers their own terrifying first day. But what happened at lunchtime? Lunch is always the most awkward part of the first day. Do you eat in the kitchen with the strangers, or do you hide in your car?
I hid at my desk, Lita. I was way too intimidated to go into the crowded kitchen. I brought a very sad, small sandwich from home, a tuna fish sandwich, and as soon as I opened the plastic bag, the entire office smelled like a busy fish market.
Sam, no! You broke the absolute most important rule of office etiquette. You never, ever bring fish to a closed office environment. The smell gets trapped in the air conditioning and stays there for a whole week. First, you smell like sweet garlic, and then you smell like sad tuna.
I'm a complete walking disaster, Lita. I quickly closed the bag, put it inside my backpack, and I just drank a 5th cup of coffee for lunch. I was so incredibly hungry by 5 o'clock, I practically ran out of the glass building when the clock struck 5.
But you know what, Sam? You survived, and that's the only real goal for the first week at a new job. You don't have to be a superstar, you don't have to invent a brilliant new product, and you don't have to be best friends with the CEO. You just have to survive, learn where the bathroom is, and try not to smell like a fish.
Exactly, and I did survive. By the second week, people actually started smiling at me. They remembered the crazy guy in the bright yellow banana jacket who talked about a green alien, and they actually thought it was very funny. It broke the ice, and now Sarah, or maybe her name is Jessica, is actually a very good friend of mine.
See, it all works out perfectly in the end. Being your genuine, slightly messy self is always better than being a fake, perfect robot. And learning a new language is exactly the same journey, guys. It's messy, it's scary, and sometimes you make silly mistakes. But you just have to keep showing up every single day.
That's so true, Lita. Our listeners are showing up every day to practice with us, and we are so incredibly proud of them. But before we officially close the office doors for today,
Yes, we have a very special request for all of you. Learning English is a long, tough journey, and nobody should do it completely alone.
exactly. Share this exact podcast episode with one good friend, a family member, or a colleague who is also trying to learn English. Challenge them to listen to the whole story and practice the heavy vocabulary with you.
Having a study buddy makes the heavy lifting so much easier. So hit that share button, send it to your friend, and make sure you both subscribe to the English Unscripted family. Thank you so much for joining us in the office today. Stay professional, don't eat fish at your desk, and we'll see you next time. Bye, everyone.